chillin', serial killing, three cold villains on the mic, got you reeling. 5-star rated from the floor to the ceiling. If you catch a 1-star, no time for feelings. And a demon DJ on the ones and twos, by the name Beelzebub, so don't get confused. So grab a seat by the fire, roast them all over two, and prepare to hear the legend of the Straight Chillin' Crew.
What up, nerds, and welcome to another Roman episode of Straight Chilling, the weekly horror movie review show where you chill and we kill, slice, dice, and chop up yet another horror movie. My name's Bob. I'll be your host for the evening. This is episode 490, recorded Monday, August 19th, 2024. Tonight, we're talking about Alien Romulus, a new release. Before we get into it, let me introduce everyone else on the show. First up, calling in from Washington, D.C., we got your boy Randeezy. What's up, man?
Oh, yeah.
What's going on, buddy? Are you ready to talk about some mining issues? What? Let's talk about some corporate overlord bullshit.
I'm ready to lay on my best British accent, which we all know is very good.
I mean,
We all know.
hit me, man. Hit me right now.
Oh,
go.
no, I can't do it. I'll do it on the day.
Not in the file.
Not in the file. Next up, calling in from Seoul, South Korea, we got your boy Soju. What's up, man?
Oh, what up? It's your boy. Get away from me, you bitches. Stains.
Man, if only, right?
Where's the period on that?
What? I gotta make you wait in anticipation.
Oh, yes.
You dirty bitch.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Last but not least, making his triumphant return to the show, welcome back, very brave, bold, sexual, sensual man, Jose. What's up, dude?
Hey, thank you so much. I am back. Thank you. Somehow my unga bunga brain managed to sneak on this professional podcast. You know,
Oh, yeah.
little revolutionaries, you know.
Oh,
Yes, professional.
blazing the trail. That's what we do.
Yeah. That's the ticket.
Somehow I faked it until I made it. I'm just so happy.
Welcome
Oh,
back.
man.
Yeah,
It's
thank you.
been
Yeah.
it's been a minute.
Yeah, it's been great. Yeah, it's
Oh.
been like shit. I think it was what, Conjuring 3?
Was it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I never forget. Shag hit me up like, "Hey, Bob wants us to be on Straight Chilling." I'm like, "Sweet, what are we recording?" He said Conjuring 3. I'm like, "I'll be there."
Oh, we'll get you on for a good one. Romulus. That's the one. That's the one we'll get you
This
back
is
on.
this is gonna be the one.
Yeah.
Hey, you're welcome. Okay.
Wow.
Uh,
Bob big leaguing motherfuckers over here.
Jose, for folks that may not be aware of you and your show, why don't you let them know?
Yeah, I, along with my co-host Shaggy Black, we are the hosts of the Cinema Villain podcast, basically a movie review podcast where instead of focusing on the movie, we'll review the villain of said movie and see if they're pretty cool or if they suck. And there you go.
What's the verdict for Alien Romulus?
Oh boy,
Wait,
who's
Bob.
the villain?
We'll get into that, I guess.
Yeah, we'll get into that. 'cause they're-
Corporate greed.
Yeah.
That's in so many ways.
Riser.
How about that? In multiple,
Is
yeah.
that the villain? Yeah. But yeah, check out Cinema Villains everywhere you guys get your podcasts. And before we do get into the review, let's tackle just a little bit of housekeeping real quick on our end. As another reminder, we do have our September poll currently posted over on our Patreon website. If you guys support us at the $5 level or above, you get the chance to vote on a movie we're talking about this September. The theme for September is movie magic. We got 3 movies that both literally and metaphorically play around with some movie magic. They are The Final Girls, Popcorn, and Matinee.
Whoa, Bob. How those numbers looking?
The Final Girls just keeps gaining more momentum. It's still at the top with 45% now. Popcorn second place with 35%. Matinee with 19%.
Still close race though.
Competitive though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
competitive. Especially when you
Slowly
consider
spreading.
like 3 votes could easily swing it. So
Yeah, that you could just pay
True, yeah.
for. You could buy those votes if you want for
I
not
could
much.
because
Yeah.
I
That's
have
what-
so much.
We have so few patrons that it's an extra valuable level of voting. So get in there, people.
All I'm saying is I am here to be paid. If y'all want me to vote for weak movie, I have no problem with it. Oh,
We
no.
need
yeah.
to swing the vote. All right.
Thank you, Jose.
Mhm.
Yeah, get those votes in before the end of the month, and we'll see what we're talking about this September. And other Patreon news, we're dropping mini casts every other Friday. Just dropped one on Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. That's up there for you now to listen to. Next up on Friday, August 30th, we got another one dropping on Humane, and that is Christina Cronenberg's feature-length debut, anyways.
Oh, another
Big Daddy
Cronenberg.
Cronenberg's daughter. Yeah, the whole damn family, man. They're all directing.
Mhm.
They're all doing it.
They're just spreading out, man. Look at them. They're just unstoppable.
The man has a brood, you know?
Oh, Randy. Way
I
to go.
know. Aren't I a clever lad? Oh my.
Oh, God.
Humane is on Shudder currently, and like I said, that minicast is dropping on the 30th. Also, speaking of Patreon, we got not one but two
Whoa.
brand new patrons.
Oh shit.
Nice.
Holy shit.
Hell yeah.
We got to give some big mad shouts outs to Sheila B and Jason C for signing up on Patreon and showing us some love. Every dollar you guys contribute does go right back into the production of the show. As is tradition, we owe you both the straight chilling salute. This goes out to Sheila and Jason.
Slap my ass! Oh God! Slap me in the ass!
Oh, God.
Slap me
Oh,
in the ass.
God.
Thank you. Oh,
Thank you.
God.
Oh God.
It feels right.
Yes.
Just
Something to add.
it feels right.
What feels right? Getting
The
slapped in the
ass.
ass?
Yes,
No. Well,
that is correct.
that's
Yeah, thanks guys. That's pretty much all I got. Do you guys have anything you need to plug?
I think my house is
No,
clean this week.
Yeah, I think so too.
Nice.
Bob, how about
Squeaky.
you? Squeaky clean. Oh my God. Where is the damn thing? There it is.
That's why you let me ask the questions.
Don't do too much, okay?
You're overloading or
Stay in your
Things-
lane, says Soju.
Okay.
I'm the
I'm the questions
man.
guy. You're the bums
Guy.
I don't like the look of it.
Fair. All right, let's go ahead and get into the main event. We are talking Alien Romulus, and we're kicking it off with the back of the box.
What's on the back of the box?
Bomb, I saw you made yourself a nice little Romulus box over there.
Yeah, as per usual, I had to create the porn parody, which is obviously titled Alien Ream My Ass.
Oh, yeah.
There you go there.
Yeah,
Extra
yeah.
drool on
It's
that
got
alien.
His little mouth thing.
I know, it's
that.
very good. It's
Oh,
very
yeah.
impressive.
Oh yeah.
Man, I
Behind
do
the
not
scenes
want to
for that one.
plunge the depths of actual Ridley Scott's alien-themed pornography.
Oh,
It has
thought
to
of that.
exist. It's
The
so
thought of that is
sexual
very
already.
off-putting.
Sweet
I know.
summer
Megan just had
child.
me field day. Just like, hey,
Yeah,
The pe-
it's
really, Scott was like, this guy's spitting.
If Edward Penis Hands is out there, yeah, this guy's spitting dick out of his fucking mouth. That's what he's doing.
goddamn, Randy.
That's clearly
I
what's
mean,
going to happen.
You're
in
just
porn
crossing the
parody.
line here. I can't even
Whoa,
deal
I
with
know.
it.
Randy,
Oh
I
my
mean-
god.
We're suddenly an X-rated podcast.
Suddenly.
Right.
It's happened overnight.
On the
Yeah.
side note, it's hilarious because when we watched this movie, my girlfriend's like, why does everything look like a vagina? I'm like, oh, let me introduce you to one H.R. Geiger.
Yeah.
My boy.
Yeah.
It's because of gender studies, you see.
Ah,
There you go.
yes.
This is an elevated movie. We're talking Alien Romulus. New release, rated R, runtime of an hour and 59 minutes. This was directed by your boy Fede Alvarez. This was written by Alvarez as well as his longtime collaborator Rado Sayegas, based on characters by Dan O'Bannon, of course, from the original Alien movie. Stars Kaylee Spaney, David Johnson, Archie Renault, Eileen Wu, Spike Fern, a whole bunch of wonderful, beautiful folks. Some alive, some not alive anymore, which is interesting. We'll get into that too.
What?
Plot synopsis brought to you by
Get into
IMDb.
that, Randy.
Oh, I see. I see what's happening here.
Brought to you by IMDb is as follows. While scavenging the deep ends of a derelict space station, a group of young space colonists come face to face with the most terrifying life form in the universe.
We're the aliens.
Gentlemen, obviously first time watch for us. It's a brand new movie. Would you recommend folks check out Alien Romulus? Jose, why don't you kick us off, man?
I mean, it's a slight recommend. I mean, there are some really cool stuff that looks awesome on the big screen. So yeah, we'll get into it in a minute, but light recommend for me.
Okay. Randy, what about you?
Yeah, I'll echo that. I think that it's a pretty good movie to like. I enjoyed watching it in a theater, which is not always true. Had a pretty good time doing that. As far as like the film itself, yeah, we'll get into it a little bit more, but I don't know. If you're into the Alien franchise, you gotta. If you're into horror, you'll be just right at home. And I think it's pretty broadly appealing, generally speaking, for a horror. So yeah, I think I recommend it.
Cool. Juice, you?
Yeah, I'm the same. I would recommend it. I would recommend you check this out for 2024 new horror, new alien flick in the theaters. Yeah, watch it. Bob, how about you? Would you recommend people check this out?
I guess I'll be the dissenter here and say no, I don't.
We are
I would-
dissenting.
Wow.
I would say just wait for it to hit whatever, I guess, Hulu, whatever. It was, I think, originally going to go straight to Hulu, and I think, personally, I would have preferred just watching it on the couch.
Okay.
Which one of y'all dead motherfuckers just said that shit?
That was me.
Coming from
But-
the man who gave Alien a 4.5. All right, Bob.
I mean, this is a 5-star movie. Just run to the theater.
It's 5-star, but only on my TV at home.
And
Anywhere
nowhere
else, it's a 3 sub 3.
You got to watch it in the blue room.
You got to do it.
It's its natural environment.
That sounds like a general recommendation from the crew here across the board. We are going to be spoiling the shit out of this new movie, and here comes your warning.
Spoiler warning.
Oh, Bob, did you type this plot synopsis?
I did, Question Master.
All
I
right.
got it all typed up.
Hit me with it.
The question master deems your answer correct.
Oh, thank God. I was worried. All right, here we go. Plot synopsis for Alien Romulus. So this takes place immediately after the original Alien movie concludes, and we see a Weyland-Yutani space probe investigating the Nostromo wreckage. It collects the xenomorph remains to be studied. We can see our main character, Rain Carradine. She's working at a Weyland-Yutani mining colony with her adopted brother, Andy, who's a reprogrammed synthetic. Her contract is unexpectedly extended, which leads to her agreeing to help her friends steal several stasis pods from a derelict space station above. They plan to use them so they can fly to a planet that's 9 light years away and free themselves from their oppressive working conditions. Andy's ability to interface with the space station is crucial to their success, so he comes along too. They fly a mining hauler up to the station. Andy opens the door, and while retrieving the pods, they accidentally unfreeze several facehuggers. Rain implants a chip from another synthetic into her brother to grant him access to all the ship's areas, but it also updates his directive from doing what's best for her to doing what's best for the company. He is a company man.
Intergalactic kegger down here.
Hell yeah. He opens another door, allowing everybody to flee from the facehuggers. Navarro gets facehugged, and Rain reactivates the damaged android they found. Its name is Rook, and it's the same model android as Ash from the previous movie and has the same face. It says the crew was killed by the xenomorph, and Navarro probably has a seed in her. Despite Andy's attempt to stop them, Bjorn, Kay, and Navarro board the mining craft and try to leave. Navarro is killed via chest burster, and the craft crashes conveniently into the Romulus cargo bay. This also changes the station's course and now leaves them only about an hour before crashing into the planet's rings. On board the mining ship, the xenomorph gestates in a pod, and Bjorn tries killing it with a stun stick. He is killed. And Kay tries to escape, but Andy refuses to open the door and let her back onto the ship. She's taken by the already full-grown xenomorph now. Rook explains to Andy the scientists on board discovered a liquid compound called the Prometheus strain, which will give humans the upgrade they desperately need while trying to survive the harsh conditions of living in space. They extracted it from the xenomorph, and Andy agrees to get it back to the mining colony for further research. Rain and Tyler find Kay in a cocoon and get her down. Tyler is killed by a xenomorph, and Andy is incapacitated. Rain gets the injured Kay back to the mining ship, and she ends up injecting herself with the Prometheus strain. Rain returns to Romulus to save her brother Andy by replacing his chip with the original one, returning his allegiance to her. Rain briefly disables the ship's gravity so they can kill all the xenomorphs approaching and float through their acid blood. They get back to the mining ship just as the station crashes into the planet's rings, destroying it. Rook and the remaining xenomorphs on board. As Rain is about to get into her stasis pod, Kay's goes into alarm. She opens it up, and Kay gives birth to a brand new life form. It crawls out of the pod.
man. Kay, something's peeking.
That's perfect bump placement, Randy. It crawls out of the pod and hides in the cargo bay. It quickly grows into a giant alien humanoid architect-looking creature. Kay is killed, but Rain manages to eject the creature and the cargo bay into the planet's rings, saving Andy and herself. As they make their way to a new home, Rain records a log and enters into cryosleep before their long journey ahead. Roll them credits.
The cosmic ballet goes on.
All right.
Yeah.
There we go.
Good job, Bump Man.
Yeah, good job.
You know, we
Proud
got
of
it
you.
this week.
Yeah. All right, Alien Romulus. Jose, you're generally pretty into the Alien franchise, right? Is that a fair
I
statement?
mean, yeah, the first two, yeah.
The first.
Diverse. Yeah.
That's fair.
the greatest tomb film franchise of all time.
This was a franchise. I thought this was the first new Alien movie.
Just
Like 40.
delete the other 7 films or 5 films, however you want
Clip and recycle bin.
to. Right.
No, yeah.
How
but,
How did this one hit you as a fan of the first two, anyways?
So as a fan of the first two, I was really into like the first 40 minutes. I was like, oh man, this world building they're doing is pretty good. I like seeing the little random mining colony they were on. Had like Blade Runner vibes, at least to me. And I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm thinking this. Everything's going great. You know, oh boy, acted his ass off. I think he was probably the highlight of the film. Andy, I don't know the actor.
David Johnson's his name?
Johnson, yeah.
He was pretty good. And but oh man, it's like this movie comes to a halt almost once a certain deep fake just shows up. It like damn near stops the movie. I was like,
It's jarring.
was
yeah.
like, ugh. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Dude, yeah.
Funny
That,
thing
that
is-
was a lot.
Yeah, the funny thing is, I thought he died this year. I don't know why. I was like, oh man,
Dude.
this must have been the last thing he did, you know, and they're using their little shitty de-aging thing they use for like Star Wars or something. Then I look up, oh, he's been dead. Oh no.
When did he die?
Yeah.
I didn't do the research.
2020 is what I just
2020,
looked it
yeah.
up. I was not
Okay.
aware of that.
Sir
Dude.
Ian
So-
Holm is who we're talking about, who played
Yeah.
Ash in the first
Rook.
movie. Yeah, and
Rook
and
in
they
this film.
they fashion Rook after him, after his likeness in this movie.
Dude,
And it's very jarring to see because like
It's
Looks
the
like
worst
shit.
decision in the whole movie
It looks
by
like shit.
far.
it's,
Like
the
it's
vast majority of this shit's practical, and I think the practical effects look really good. And
looks
then
amazing.
especially in comparison. It's like, oh my god, dude,
Mhm.
terrible.
Dude.
like it's not even the thing is like this doesn't have to be his face. It doesn't have to be it's only his
No.
face for
Yeah.
fan service. 2 years after the man has passed away, 3 years, whatever, 4 years. How
4
long's it been
years.
since 2020? It feels like a decade and a year at the same time. But I mean, it's like not only that, but like if you're gonna do that, if you're gonna go that route, if you're really gonna need that fan service to happen, you think, my God, like don't accept like this level of CGI. This is not good looking shit, man.
No,
It's
like,
real rough.
It was really jarring. Like I was just like, what the fuck? Like I can't stop looking at it. It's
My
so-
boy.
I'm gonna
What have
say
they
this right
done to
now.
my
only-
boy?
If I die, no one has permission to use my face. You can't use it.
If they pay me enough,
No.
I'll sign off on it.
No. No.
Rent
you
out his
can't
voice.
Somebody's-
use
I would like to use his
Somebody's
voice.
got to be
So-
an alien ream my ass, okay?
there
One
you
of
go.
us has to
Only-
sign on.
Juice is only willing to sell out while he's breathing. but
Yeah,
not
if
after
only
he's-
I can benefit. Nobody else
I wanna
can
sell
benefit
you
from
out.
me.
We're gonna- You are technically a straight chilling product, so we will decide
That's
whether
right.
that happens.
We are just like Wayland Yutani.
Dude,
We
I
are-
did.
Robocop.
Okay, the freaky thing is the other
Yeah.
like yesterday, maybe I got an ad. I don't know if it was on Instagram or some ad somewhere, and it was promoting, oh, for people who like to make content, go ahead and just record your voice and we'll generate the AI for. And I was
Oh my
like,
god,
fuck
dude.
this right
Oh my
now,
god.
dude. Oh my
I
god.
hate it.
It's garbage.
How's Skynet gonna get us? We always thought they were just gonna nuke us to shit. Now they're just
Dude.
gonna slowly,
Yeah.
Copy us.
one by one. Yep.
Dude, yeah, that
Mm.
was unfortunate because I will say when this movie started up, just that scene of the lights and the buttons coming on and it like generating and stuff, I was so giddy because I was like, and this shot, kind of the shots of space, because I was like, this looks great. It
Mhm.
looked fantastic of just that old look, and I don't, they brought it to life really well, and I was super excited about that. And dude, when that guy showed up and started talking, I didn't even know necessarily, like I wasn't thinking about him being dead. I was just thinking, wow, this looks like garbage, and it's clearly fate, like it's clearly altered in some terrible way. I thought, I was just thinking maybe like de-aging or whatever too, but it's just unacceptable. That kind of shit. Not only is it ethically very, very questionable,
Right.
and whoever signed off on this, it just from a just neutral stance, it looks like garbage. It just
Yeah.
Right.
it ruins everything else that the film has set up in that
It
way.
made it feel even more like a Star Warsification of the franchise than it already did before that point. It's got this like super, it's like such a rehash remix of all the other movies and like it's to the point where it's got like references and like recycled lines that truly don't belong in them. They feel awkward and out of place in this movie. They're truly only there for people that have seen the other movies to go, I remember that. And that's it. Like,
Yeah, it's so weird.
Yeah.
There was
Okay.
no reason for Andy to be like, like get away from her, you bitch. Like he takes like the long
Yeah, that was
bitch.
really Hollywood.
That was the
Wait
one
for
that
it.
was
Like,
is he
whoa.
gonna say
He's
it?
waiting for the crowd to get hyped.
Yeah, he said
then he
no.
says
Yeah.
it, "You bitch." I'm like,
It's just
man.
this is not the franchise for that. Like, I don't know, like Star Wars, like for like all of its faults, it is a fantasy family film. This is a fucking hard sci-fi horror
Yeah.
franchise. We do not need this shit. We do not like the hyper reference. It's giving Ghostbusters Frozen bullshit. Like that's it's
Frozen.
there's and it doesn't need to be that. Like what they did correctly was they perfected, at least in the first bit, like the ship, like the sets, the look of the environments. That is
Yeah.
all, like you said, Justin, like completely immaculate. I was
The
blown away
aesthetic.
how well,
Yeah.
like at the quiet, like the sound design is like it's
Mhm.
quiet instead of like fanfare and score all the time. It does a great job aesthetically. And then it just kind of undercuts that by being a little too glib with its source material. You don't have to do that. You don't
Now,
have to do,
Yeah.
do
I'll
that.
I'll be honest with you. Other than, so obviously the get away from her, you bitch, I was just like, oh Jesus Christ. And then the dude's fake face, which is like
Mhm.
god awful. But before that, if they were making like some clear, obvious like lines or whatever, I didn't necessarily pick up on them. There weren't any moments where I was kind of like rolling my eyes or going like, oh God. If they happened, they kind of washed over me, and I wasn't like pointing at the screen or like doing anything. So I if they did it before that, then they hit it pretty well, or at least, or I wasn't paying like close enough attention. Was there like a lot of like line drops and stuff?
You know,
There were a handful, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I watched
From
a
Rook.
like a little I watched a short
Oh,
video that was
okay.
like all of the Easter eggs or whatever that some
Mm.
outlet found or whatever. And there's a few, but like a lot of them are stretches. So I think those are for sure the most recognizable and like immediate gets. for
Yeah.
most people, certainly for you and me, at least for me, because like I don't have a strong memory of a lot of the lore, much less the rest of the movies and how things sequence and whatever. Like I don't really see this the way that I saw Rogue One, where I knew what the end point was gonna be, or I
Sure.
knew what the beginning. Like it was just very. It seemed kind of self-contained. So when they go to that well so heavily with this Ian Holm lookalike, it just really it really like you said, Jose, it grinds me to a halt. I'm like, oh man, all that goodwill is just
Mhm.
kind of shat on right now. And then the "you bitch" line is just like very, very hollow. It should not be coming from that character. I don't understand why they decided to give it to him.
half expecting him to like divert and be like, "You monster," or say some like
He-
some dad jokey
Say
pun.
something.
That's all he was doing. In
Yeah.
Yeah.
the movie
Yeah.
was just dad jokes all day. So I was
Yeah.
expecting like type of like lame pun to come out, but no.
That would have served the character so much
Yeah.
better, and you probably would have got a great laugh out of it instead of like a big groan. You know, if you
Yeah, it probably
nail
would
a
have been a
dad
little
joke.
groan worthy because they are still kind of pulling. I mean, I don't know. They could have turned it on its head, like you said, and had it lead as if it was going to do that, and then subvert it. They take so long to get to the "you bitch,"
Yeah.
and it's coming from a synthetic, and this synthetic has no like. There's no reason for it to emote at all. So why the
Yeah.
fuck would it be saying this?
And it's not a queen; it's just a xenomorph. So like, it doesn't even like it makes sense in Aliens.
Yeah.
Like there's a reason for it. It just I don't know. It
The
just
reason
doesn't
is
fit the movie at
entirely
all.
divorced from the film itself.
Yeah.
It's just entirely about previous properties.
Well, and
And
also,
that's what
yeah.
it sucks.
And also too, that's a good point. That also, I mean, a totally like different thing is that comes from Aliens, which, as we kind of discussed last week in Resurrection, has a lot more camp going on, has a lot more kind of comedy infused, has a different general kind of tone. This is clearly trying to recapture the tone and general feeling of Alien,
Mm,
which doesn't really have.
I think this is trying to do fucking everything.
Well,
honestly.
I
I
think
don't know.
so
I
too.
just I
For
know
better-
that the guys drop in like the corny lines and stuff like that, but this doesn't have like a big jokey feeling throughout the film like Aliens
Character-wise, it's
does.
not as campy. I will give you that. But this movie is an action movie, which the first one was
Yeah.
not. And like
Yeah.
definitively, I think
But
it's trying to be
I really
one
was
and
kind of
two
going with
together
the
with a little bit of
comedy.
reference.
I was kind of going
Yeah.
with like the comedy.
Yeah, the camp factor isn't on the same level. That's true. So
Yeah.
like
Ho-
to that
Jose,
to that
did
end,
you-
yeah.
Did you say something, man? I don't think we heard you.
Oh, no, I
sorry.
was saying for better and for worse. It's like
Oh.
But yeah.
it's taken everything from the entire franchise.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It really is. It's. I mean, since Resurrection is so fresh in our minds, like the whole like fourth act or the stinger, whatever you want to call it, like with the new like baby coming to life, but this time it
Jesus
looks
Christ.
a little more like one of the architects or whatever, you know, like because it's got the
Yeah.
black goo in
So
it.
It has after
And, like,
post
I didn't-
Prometheus vibes.
I didn't mind the design of it. I thought it was fine, but
I like
I mind that it's just a copy paste plot point, which the majority of this movie is. That's what I mind.
Well,
Like,
actually,
I think that
okay.
all of the
so-
movies are that way though. I don't really like I
I
don't know. This movie
don't think
this-
I agree with that. but-
Well, yeah.
I
Well,
think-
most of the time you got to have your final. Hey, we made it, guys. Oh no, one snuck
Yeah.
off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that they're all going to have the same structure. Like it's following that structure again, but it's like to me, like if you look at Alien Resurrection, you look at Alien 3 or whatever. I don't think they think they deign to maybe have something going on like thinky wise, but not really. Like the first one, maybe a little bit of the second one, and then the Prometheus and Covenant, they attempted to bring like high thought back to it. This movie does none of that, and like I'm okay with that. It's trying to be a crowd pleasing, like all the things people liked about Alien and Aliens, and that's fine by me because I like the Prometheus and Covenant, like what they were thinking about, but it was so convoluted. It was so like scuttled by studio and everything else that it just like I don't really even remember what the points were they were trying to fucking make, and it doesn't matter. Those movies
It's as
don't stand
clear
out for
as,
that reason to me.
It's clear as black goo.
Yeah, exactly. So I was happy to be like divorced from that a little bit, but not to the point where it was also like Aliens versus Predator franchise where it gets like also uber silly simultaneously.
Yeah, I would say like, okay, it's gonna be hard because what I'm defending essentially, well, I don't know, is the first 2/3 of this movie, I guess. So in that vein, because it really does feel, and the thing is it's not completely. It feels like there is clear interference or forcing the hand of incorporating these elements in the third act, and that's why it feels like such a hard turn, because it clearly is like, okay, and now here's this guy that you recognize, and now we're going to talk about black goo and tie it into Prometheus. Oh, and there's going to be an architect engineer thing or whatever at the end. Like, there's clear choices that feel like essentially studio interference or like forcing the hand to include these things. But what I would say is that you can't look at this franchise. I mean, even like the bigger one, Prometheus, Alien 2, Alien 3, and Alien 4, they're all essentially copy paste. I mean, to be completely honest,
Structurally,
yeah, they all are pulling heavily and referencing heavily the very first film. Every single one of them. I mean, like there's not a whole lot other than like adding a queen and multiple aliens that Aliens brings new to the table apart from Alien. There's not, I mean, Alien 3, Alien 4, like they're all very copy paste. So I know we're in the realm now of like the film industry of bringing back the Ghostbusters, bringing back Beetleman, bringing back so I know that we're extra sensitive to that element, but in all fairness, this whole franchise is very, very, very copy paste,
I
and
don't
not really to
totally
its
agree with
detriment.
that.
Not really.
I think they attempt to try something new. I mean, you can say that it's successful or not. I think there's varying degrees of that, but I think this movie brings fewer new things to the table than any of the previous movies.
I wouldn't agree with that.
I struggle to find something new here, other than like I guess the
struggled to
mining
find
colony.
something-
We hadn't quite seen that before, and that did feel fresh when the movie started. It was like, okay, cool. This does feel like we're kind of seeing a new angle that we hadn't seen before in an Alien movie. But I think,
really loved that. Yeah.
oh yeah, that was neat. But like the rest of it, it's like it's the same beats over and over again. And there was something that I was feeling when I was watching this movie, is that it felt like I was watching someone play a video game. And after seeing it, I started looking up trivia and stuff, and apparently this was influenced by a video game called Alien Isolation
Oh,
that
well,
Alvarez
yeah.
played during the pandemic. I like hated that feeling, that it just feels like I'm watching a video game. I don't
I
know if
didn't really feel that.
really
Yeah,
it,
and I don't
the
feel
f-
that way about
when
this
they
any
first
more than I feel about like Aliens even.
Yeah.
Really.
I don't
When they
know.
first get on the ship, it's like they spend 20 minutes like opening and closing doors and like getting to the next stage and acquiring the chip, and they got to get the chip back to the other room and then open the other door, and like I don't know, it felt very laborious. I didn't care for
I
it.
don't know. To me, I liked that actually. I like that stuck out to me as like a good decision because it kept the pacing like on a realistic level. We're in this environment that, while we are kind of familiar with from previous entries, like it's not like we don't have a lay of the land in most of these movies. Most of the time, the ship is kind of a mystery, and there was just like set piece here, and then they walk through a void, and then they get to some other set piece over here, and then they walk through another void. This felt like it was kind of attached for a long time. I could kind of like map to some degree some of what was happening, and it felt like, I don't know, it feel sequential and like deliberate, and it felt like a pacing choice to give it
I was
some
bored
weight.
out of my mind, dude. Honestly,
I don't know. Really, I was
I
loving the
disagree with
sets.
you,
I was
Oh
Bob.
no, yeah, I was.
Yeah.
I will say this movie didn't bore me. At least that's
Not at
I
all.
was
I enjoyed the
pretty
movie.
bored. Yeah. For
And
y'all,
like I don't know, I don't think that this brought like it didn't bring a whole lot new to it, but I was kind of grateful to some degree to that, and it did bring the mining colony and the stuff on the front end, which is something that it desperately needed, as opposed to like another iteration of the xenomorph morphing into another hybrid or another version or a queen or a this or a that or a king or whatever it is. Like, I don't care so much about the evolution of the fucking xenomorphs anymore. We've done
No,
that for like
no.
the last two movies. We've almost done exclusively that. So can we please just focus on people being scared of a scary monster trying to eat their faces?
Yeah,
Like,
and
that's what it does well.
I thought it played it out well, honestly, to go against what Bob said, because really my biggest problems with this again are in the third act. And so honestly, the first two are, I want to say like almost like kind of flawless for me. I thought that it hit every beat that it needed to. So to go against Bob, I mean, we start this up and we all agree that we like the mining colony and that aspect set up. And I thought, you know, having them being young, but it was reasonable about their ages and their motivations. I thought that all felt good. And then that part that Bob's talking about, it's really like kind of setting up mood. It's taking time. I mean, when you go back to, and I guess that's a problem that Bob had with the first Alien, is like, oh, it's kind of slow paced, but I mean, you're setting up mood. I mean, you're setting an atmosphere of fear. This is supposed to be a horror film, so you're going
Did you
into
find it scary?
well, I thought
Yeah.
that
Really?
it felt reasonable for the characters in the situation to be scared. So they're going in and they're going into the space and like they're measuring the temperature and like something is off about how cold it is. And they see like the melted body in the floor and like they're not really sure why this ship is abandoned, what's going on. And so like, and they have this like mission and like it made sense of like shit. I thought everything like played out well. Shit, we only have like 3 years. We need 9 years, so we got to go find the fuel. And so every step, it didn't make me like roll my eyes about like, oh, why would they keep going or why are they doing this? Everything matched what they set up from before and seemed very reasonable for the science fiction world that you're building out, while also building atmosphere and establishing a space. None of that felt wasted to me or like it's consuming time needlessly.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. I think that this
Yeah.
whole thing is kind of like it feels like say your cat is
I'm telling you, man.
crackling.
Like I'm waiting for it to just everything just go dark.
Every few seconds, just like
It's like an alien.
fucking cat skin alien
'Cause I
walks.
just
through.
got off work, so he hasn't seen me all day. So he's like, "Hey, bud, what are we doing?" I'm like, "I'm doing something.
Me, damn it.
Go be a
But yeah,
cat.
no,
Go chase something."
I just feel like, yeah, I think it establishes like the right proper pacing and tone of a horror movie, not an action movie. Like I when you asked if I was scared, like I think that Justin's right. Like, yeah, it's reasonable to think that these characters would be scared and be caught unawares and think that they're making the right decision and then be wrong, as opposed to, you know, some of the like Alien Resurrection or whatever, where people are just kind of like scheming and doing shit and everybody's doing shit and like trying to like be as big of a character as they possibly fucking can, and it's
Yeah.
exhausting. I
I
don't
mean,
know,
that
like-
movie is dumb, but I find it more entertaining in general than this.
I think that movie is entertaining the way like Halloween Resurrection is entertaining, but this is actually got a little bit of tenseness to it. Like this is the thing, like this felt like I'm more familiar with the Evil Dead franchise than I am with Aliens by far. Seen it more than enough times to be way more familiar with that franchise. This is Fede Alvarez. I was expecting Evil Deadification of Alien, and I think I got that for the most part. Like I think that he brought some good action horror to it. The difference is for me, like besides some of those like specific errors of judgment, I think, is that this sort of like brings in that all that horror stuff or whatever into a franchise that is like has a lot under the hood. Like at least it originated from this point of like having a point. Evil Dead is a blank slate for whatever you want to apply to the top of it at this point. And I think that works really, really great for that. This is kind of like stripping away all of that stuff, which granted, like if I was a hardcore fan of this franchise, I might be really pissed off that they did that. And I might be like, well, at least Alien Covenant did this and this and this. But I'm like, I was bored by Alien Covenant. I wasn't bored watching this. Like I definitely
Jose,
didn't
how,
get bored
how
watching
did you
this one.
feel about them bringing the black goo and shit back to the?
Oh, that was my second red flag. Because I was like, okay, I can look past the deep fake atrocity. That's cool. And then, of course, he pops up to start explaining the black goo. I'm like, oh, I hate it here.
I
They
forgot the
double
black goo was
down.
even a thing.
Yeah,
So like
They
for me,
even
it's
call it like the Prometheus strain. We found it. I'm like, oh no. I'm like, please stop. Like, what are you doing? I'm like, go back to the first 90 minutes or 60 minutes of this movie.
I agree,
Yeah.
man.
You
Yeah, I was
bitch.
like, I was so like my just disappointment. Just it was probably just. I mean, I had kind of like a physical like drop of like, oh no. Like really, when they brought up the Prometheus strain and the reason that Wayland died, I was going, oh, it was so smooth. Like it literally felt like Fede Alvarez made a movie And then literally like a studio came in and was like, and plug this scene in. That's what it felt like. It
No,
was
Ridley
so
Scott was like,
disappointing.
I'm
Yeah.
going to remind them of my prequels. They
Dude,
happened. It's like, no,
we do
don't.
not need Prometheus in this
I-
shit. We don't.
I think there is
gut-sucking intestinal parasite.
I think there is a difference when you consider like Sam Raimi and Ghost House, like his production company, and like how they tend to choose a filmmaker and just let them make the movie. I could definitely envision Ridley Scott saying, "You better include this list of
This reference or
things."
that. Yeah,
I
that's
could
true.
see that happening.
They're
yeah.
truly trying to keep. That's the thing that I don't care for with this whole franchise
Me
is the.
too.
I appreciate to some degree devotion to a core conceit and like making things consistent and all that stuff. I appreciate the attempt to do that on some level, but it is too much to keep in my head. I did not sign up for a fucking endless goddamn HBO mega series. That's not what I want out of this. I want self-contained fucking adventure, like horror adventures, and that's what this kind of delivers. And for me, like I didn't even really honestly remember the black goo all that well. So I was like, oh, I think that's a reference to Prometheus, probably. Yeah, whatever. But it could have been just like the same as it always was before, which is we're trying to capture these aliens. We want to study them, and it's the same question, the same answer. It's just a MacGuffin that the Wayland Yutani group needs to motivate the story along as the villains of the story, or as one of the villains of the story. So I don't know. I don't feel too badly about it. I definitely didn't have that reaction where I was like, "Oh fuck, like I didn't do that."
Honestly, the only reason this black goo is in the movie is for to have the thing at the end of the movie.
Exactly.
How we get the specials, I know how. Ridley Scott, then I know how. Like,
Yeah,
Which doesn't really make sense to me too. That's a problem with this is like when you're forcing these things. I mean, even that was some of my biggest problems with Prometheus is because I thought, Prometheus looks great and it's got some interesting conceptual ideas, but it needs to tie itself to Alien. And as a part of that, they got to show this mutation and they got to give a reason for it. They got to explain it. It's like in this film, and then that's so convoluted that even when we cover Prometheus, I was like, wait, why the fuck are they doing this? It's clear like he wants to make another movie and they're just like have to fucking do it. And it's so convoluted that taking those ideas that didn't even necessarily work 100% in their own fucking movie and like diluting them into another fucking movie is so goddamn stupid and unnecessary that it's so frustrating because it's like you didn't even do it right over there when it was your
I agree with that.
movie and your core idea. Why the fuck are you gonna make somebody else pull your shitty ideas into their movie?
You got to carry that weight, Justin. You got to
It's
carry that
bullshit.
weight.
It's such
I don't know.
fucking
Like, I agree
bullshit.
though. Like, can we ask you guys a question as somebody who hasn't watched a new Star Wars since
It's
the Last Jedi, I guess, whatever the last one was? Have they ever brought up midichlorians again? Ever?
I
they
think
did.
it is.
I don't know.
No,
I
If
don't
they
know.
did, it was very minimal, right? Not a huge plot point. It was just
They
like,
did in the Mandalorian. Or,
okay, well, I don't know.
I don't remember because I stopped. I'm like, okay, I'm done.
I think you might
I
need
was
to get a
gonna
little
say that-
closer to your mic, Jose.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
There
yeah.
you go. Yeah, yeah.
I ask because that's the same sort of thing where it's like that is something that did not work and was widely like shat on in the original introduction of that concept, and it didn't get any better. It's not better for being in a better movie. It's just bringing a better movie down to the level of a previous worse movie or
Yeah.
a movie that like just doesn't tonally resonate. So yeah, I kind of agree on that level, but again, that depends on me knowing and caring about the black goo. I don't know or care about the
Yeah.
black goo. It's one-off mention that just leads to them doing the rat experiment and having this little like whatever nootropic or whatever the fuck that this girl
know.
uses.
I'm
I don't
definitely
know.
in the minority when it comes to the addition of the black goo to this movie. I don't think it needs to be there, but I do appreciate it because we at least get to see this new creature at the end, which, has happened before a few times, but at least it's something different. Like
You like that black goo?
something different. Yes.
Oh
Yeah.
God. Oh, well, let me ask you this because my whole point of like not liking it too is you're saying like, oh, at least we get this creature then, but it doesn't really matter or do anything for the
No,
plot of this movie. So you just like it just for shit, just to happen. It doesn't do
It's-
anything.
I know. I would say that about the entire movie. It doesn't do anything. It's just something that we haven't seen before. I mean, slightly. It's like a slight alteration on something. Just show
I
me
really
something
liked-
fucking new, man. We've seen everything else up until that point. Like everything.
I know it's
it's
technically
all
a
the
different
same
thing.
shit.
You
The-
could
the
say that about
android
the
that you
Evil Dead
can't
remake.
trust.
You love the Evil
yeah.
Dead remake.
Well, I find it to actually be scary in certain parts. This movie, I don't think is scary even remotely. And they do take the main character and just can him and try and bring in fresh faces. Our main character here, Rain, is just a Ripley stand-in, man. They even like
I
have
don't
her wearing
agree
the
with
same
that.
outfit, and she gets into her underwear at the end. She puts on the spacesuit just like Ripley does at the end of Alien.
Well, yeah,
It's
they're
like,
doing
just the
bullshit
same
with it, but I
shit,
wouldn't say
man.
that the characters are complete stand-in.
I
In
wouldn't think
fact,
so either.
people, I saw some criticisms of this being like, oh,
I
a
mean,
beat
she's
for beat
protective of her
remake
brother,
of
just like
Alien, but I
Ripley
don't
is
think
of
I think like
Newt
all the
and the
character
cat.
that's
and-
aliens though.
I
That's
know the cat and
aliens.
Alien, Newt and Aliens. Ripley, she's the mother figure. Rain here is looking after her
No, I
brother the
mean,
whole
but like,
movie.
but she
Like,
actually has a relationship with the brother. They talk and
Sure.
discuss things, and they
They-
have like reasons
do,
for being
yeah.
attached to each other. There's no other than it being a cat. Like Ripley
saying
has like
it's-
no.
it's the same thing. It's just the same.
It's not. I
It's
don't
not-
think
I
it
mean,
is at
having
all.
any emotional like, do you? I wouldn't.
She
care
goes
for
back
her to have
for the
no
cat.
emotional
That's
relationship.
She
insane.
goes back for Newt. She
fair.
goes back for her brother in this movie. It's like just the same.
Yeah, to be fair, I
There-
did.
there
get the
are-
same vibe.
Mhm.
I was like, oh, she's going back for the cat. This is the same
Right.
moment.
Thank you.
See, I do think there's
I
a
did-
similarity, but I don't think that they're like so similar as to be like written off. Like to me, like there's
No.
It didn't bother
again
me.
going back to Evil Dead. I'm looking at this character of Rain. I thought she was way more like Mia in Evil Dead franchise. Like I don't know if it was just visually or what. She seemed like slightly altered character. She fit the Ripley role because that was clearly intentional. There's a lot of like resonance with previous stuff or whatever, and we just kind of have to accept that to some degree. But like I don't see any problem with us having an emotional core for her of like
Well, of course
needing
not.
to having a relationship with somebody or something that's conflicted and then needing to make a decision to ultimately do the righteous thing and go like
I'm not
I
saying
think that's
relationships
fine.
and conflict in movies are bad.
I'm not okay. Let's go back to who Ripley was in the first film and compare because I completely
I'm
disagree.
not saying it
No,
is
no, 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 no.
exactly the same.
It's because
I'm
it's
saying
not.
the
It's not at
general
all.
beats
It's
are the
just a
same.
woman that's in a lead role because in the first one, Ripley works for the company, has no problem working for the company. She runs the ship. She's very practical in like what she's doing. She's the one who doesn't want to let somebody on the ship when they're infected. She's following protocol. She's following the company's rules. Like she's very practical and everything that she does is just strictly like for the survival of herself or the ship and all of those things. Like as a person, that's who she is. This girl is like desperate to get off of this Rain character is desperate to get off of this thing, is like not in control of the ship. She's a guest on this group ship. She wants to stay back. She's like a kind of like a programmer. She's like just doing anything that she can to get away from the company. She has a companion that she confides in and is her emotional base support. Ripley has none of that. Like what are the similarities to you that are like a exact copy and
She's not
paste? I don't see
I
maternal
any
never
of
said
it.
it was an exact
Andy.
copy paste.
But
I
you're saying it's
clarified
like just
that
that
that's
you
not
said
what
it's
I'm
the
saying.
same thing.
The
You
beats,
said it's just the
the
same
beats
thing.
are the same.
Like what?
The
So
beats of the
what?
movie
So
are the
what's
fucking
the same?
You got a strong female character who's
Okay, so
looking
she's
after
a woman.
who's looking after someone specific.
Ripley's
be it
not
a
looking
cat,
after somebody
be it a dude.
specific.
Dude, okay.
She's
not looking
not
after
in the
Newt
first
and
film.
Aliens?
In the second one,
Okay. This movie's
Hey,
an
Jose.
amalgamation of all the movies, man. All of them
Let's go.
crammed
How you
together.
doing, buddy?
All
I'm
of
doing
them.
all right, man. You know, it's fun to
I
be
don't
here.
think
This is
there's
a great
any
time.
like copy and
It's a good
paste going on
It's a real good
here.
time.
I mean,
I'm
there's
happy
like
for
you.
him.
influence.
There
I
there
think
are
there
beats.
is.
I think it's somewhere in between those two things. Like there are definitely like similarities in the beats. The character, I would say, argue, is different enough for my taste to like. I'm not seeing it. Like I think that Justin's right to say that like yeah, she's not Rain is not a maternal figure to this droid.
No, she's looking after
not.
her brother. She's looking
after a
someone.
family
Yes.
member, and like that other people don't trust, and that she has become reasonable to distrust as well. So she has a crisis of faith. Like I don't know. I think that's all fine. And to me, like it's all like that's just enough emotional core for me to enjoy the set pieces that are really fucking awesome in this movie. I really enjoyed like the acid blood and zero G. I loved that.
Me
I know I
too,
could see
dude.
why
Yeah,
people
that
would
was a
think
good
that's
scene.
stupid. I
was
fucking
good.
love that sort of shit.
I thought it was
I love
awesome.
the elevator dropping on a dozen fucking xenomorphs and saving the day. That shit rules. Like I don't know.
I was like, hell
Like-
yeah, they gremlins too, those motherfuckers. That's what I'm talking about.
I also
So,
didn't really
like,
care
yeah.
for the acid blood. It was
Oh,
another like
no.
video game thing.
Oh God.
I didn't
See,
like
I
it.
don't know. I don't see it as a much more of a video game than like literally Alien Isolation is a video game that is like completely one for one with the original movie, like in
Actually,
its
it's
ship
pretty-
design and like
Yeah.
like I don't know.
I don't know
I-
anything about that game.
I
I've
played
never
it.
It's
I
amazing.
think
Like,
yeah,
you
I
should
think
try
we have
it.
YouTube
It's great.
videos on it on our,
Do
on
you?
our
I think you
channel.
do.
I think.
Yeah, we covered it on some level.
Yeah.
I've played like half of that game, and at least from the half I saw, it felt like not like tonally perfectly the same, but it didn't seem like an abdication of the franchise. It seemed like just a different take on it. That sort of like because of its action infusion, like filtered in some of that Aliens juice, some of that James Cameron juice with the action that is not so overblown as to be like 90s bullshit Ron Perlman upside down shit.
Well, actually,
Like,
that game, it's not very action based because like you're not allowed you can't beat the creature. The whole thing is to sneak away from the creature. So it's a lot of stealth and crouching and like
there's no like final confrontation sort of deal. I assumed
I
there
can't
was.
remember 100%, but
So
like
maybe I'm talking
you
out of my
pretty
ass.
much like don't have weapons. I mean, you do, but like if you fire them, you're dead because the alien will find you. I mean, it's very stealth based.
I don't know.
Yeah, you basically you
And-
get a flamethrower, but you can't use it a lot.
You can't beat it. Yeah.
Right. Okay. I don't know. Like to me, it doesn't feel like I never got the impression this feels like a video game. To me, it was like this feels like a horror movie just like switched on the action button.
Yeah.
And now we're getting some really cool scenes in this fucking amazing set where all of the CG and all the effects minus the one are really fucking great. And it's like I don't know. I had enough emotionality for me to be like, oh, the Mia character is you know, getting a full arc here, and that's what matters for this run through. I don't really care if there were like I left before the end of the credits because I was like, I don't care about a fucking post credit sequence.
Was there a
Is there
post
one?
credits?
There was nothing.
I think I looked it
Okay.
up and it said no, but I just want to
Okay.
confirm. Yeah, okay, there was none, right? Okay, so yeah, like I don't care about that shit. I don't care about setting up the next one. I don't care about wait, what's the next evolution or what's it? None of that stuff is what I like about the Alien franchise. I like people being scared by boogans that are gonna jump out and impregnate their faces.
It's also funny that Bob is so harsh on this film and especially talking about like how it's like beat for beat and all these things when I feel Prometheus is very much the same thing. You have a female lead character there who's definitely fits much more of a kind of like maternal role in what's going on there, like trying to get pregnant, feels like she's infertile, like wants to have a child and stuff like that. And like I didn't remember any of the criticisms that you had like for that film.
So you just said that they try to create all this extra bullshit that is unneeded, but also say it's the same.
What? I'm not saying it's the same. I'm saying I'm
Prometheus?
no, I'm saying I don't remember like the criticisms that you're giving this film. I don't remember
Yeah.
you having those same kind of criticisms for Prometheus. whereas
Prometheus
I feel like
adds,
Prometheus
better
was
or
like
worse-
a lot more of a copy and paste.
I mean, but Prometheus, I think, is actually trying to do something new, and that's what a lot of people dislike about it. It's trying to add to the lore, whether it's needed or not. Sure, you can talk about that, but at least it's trying something.
Okay.
I mean, it's fair that yeah, it's trying something. It's
I
trying
mean, there's a
something
big
like
marble man at the beginning. Like, you know, it's I don't know, it's different. I get why people dislike it. That's understandable. I get why
I
people
like-
like this. It's just not for me, man.
like the thing is like the Prometheus and Covenant, all that stuff. Like it was just like it to borrow a Joe Bob, the plot got in the way of the story, right? Like it was
Sure, yeah.
too much laying groundwork and doing stuff and doing it kind of like half-assedly or incapably because things changed in the production of it all or whatever, and it got to be confusing and a mess. So like the good action horror that was kind of in there hidden underneath all that stuff didn't really get a chance to shine. There's nothing encumbering this movie from being a good action sci-fi horror, and I think that's what I like about it. The biggest thing that it draws for that takes it down is whenever it goes too far in trying to replicate the originals, which is mostly, for my money, the Ian Holmes stuff. Like
Yeah.
mostly that.
I would actually argue where this, like for me, so this is for me personally, this movie's biggest faults are trying to fit into the franchise, particularly Prometheus, about trying to work these things in. If it was just played as it is, it feels like another iteration of like an Aliens 3 or an Aliens 4, but like done much better. Which with all of those films, we all talked about how like the biggest problem with those films was fucking studio interference. Fucking Fincher wasn't able to make the vision that he wanted to. They changed it from a cathedral to a prison, and you know, all those things. And I think that's what's going on here is like this need to be like, oh, and make sure you get an engineer there at the end, and make sure you get the black goo in there, and like those are the worst parts for me. Them having a ship that looks very similar to the first ship makes complete sense because it literally happens right after the first film. The setting is supposed to take place, so of course the ship should look, it's supposed to be the same. Like it's supposed to. And they do add new things of like, what is the world like? You're on this mining colony, you never see the sun, so you have good motivations. Like that builds out the world. It gives clear motivations for our characters. I think they're distinctly different, and not even them, our main character, but um everybody else too, the brothers, you know, or whatever their relationship was. Yeah, cousins, and then the sisters involved and stuff like that. All of them having this motivation of our parents died in the mines. They were slaves to this company. We fucking hate this company. We never see the sun. They fuck us on our contracts constantly. It builds out the idea of the company and the motivations of people. It also plays with the idea, I liked them incorporating like why people wouldn't trust the artificial people, of like, I like that kid whose parents died in the mine because of a calculated, you know, she
All
was
that
like,
stuff is great, but it's like 30 minutes, and then the rest of the movie is extremely familiar. Like all that stuff in the first 30 minutes, the setup is interesting. It
so
just
you
loses
like
me after that.
nothing about them going into space, nothing about anything of them going to space you don't like.
So there are things I like. This movie is gorgeous. It's a beautifully shot movie. It looks fantastic. All the practical effects, like I already said, look great. They look fantastic. Most of them we've already seen before. Something I did like here, the highlight of the movie, Jose, you kind of were mentioning this earlier on. The brother Andy, the way that he's able to sort of go back and forth between like the company robot and like the brother robot, and like he's able to like do these very nuanced performances. I think he's easily the best part of this movie. So like there are good things happening. It's just
Well,
not nearly
actually,
enough for me.
that's so interesting that you say that, because to me, like the um the Turing test ass fucking, is this cyborg a human or not? Like, should I treat him this way or that way? Like that was retread to me, and I was okay with it ultimately, because it was like I thought the performances were good. I thought that the setting was good. I was immersed in the world, but like that to me, more than a lot of things that you brought up, felt retreaded in a way that was not unique to this sequel, but definitely one of the
Yeah.
higher levels.
It is a retread. Specifically, that actor's performance is what really blew my mind. It's not like the beat itself necessarily. It's like just the
I
way he
agree.
played it. I thought was really
He
great.
played it really great. Yeah,
agree.
I'll give you that for sure. Yeah, and I agree with that. Okay, but like to me, that's the thing that like if I'm gonna look at something that's seems repetitive, the first two movies dealt with that exact question, and like
Yeah,
about like
I agree.
and beyond. Like even in Resurrection, they touched on it for like a second, but like I don't know. To me, it comes down to like style, aesthetic, performance, and then not for me not being over encumbered by lore, because like Justin said, like the lore infusions are where it loses me. I'm just not that interested in that stuff. I don't think this movie is going to be additive to those ideas, so I don't care about them touching on those ideas. I care about them running away from fucking xenomorphs and having internal conflict amongst themselves, like splitting up, and then one of them like hits the other, and oh no, now it's 30 minutes and we're gonna crash. Like just like a good fucking space tale. Like I was happy with that, and it wasn't overblown to the point of being like completely ridiculous within the confines of its shared reality with the other films, like some of the other films have been. I don't know. That's more or less like.
Well,
the
you're
sum
pretty
of
much
my
wrapping
review.
up, Randy. Let's
Right.
go ahead and
Like
do
I
it.
kind of got there.
Out of 5, Randy, kick us off. You're doing already. How do you feel? Alien Romulus.
I don't know, man. What did I give Resurrection? I gave Resurrection a 3. I gave Alien a 5. I mean, excuse me. And then I don't know what I gave Aliens. I want to say a 4.5. I don't think this is as good as either of those movies. I don't think it's as nearly as bad as Resurrection. So that gives me like a 0.5 window of like a point window or something to play with. I think I'm gonna go with a 4 flat. I don't know where I rank this movie, but it is one of the more distinctive ones to me, which is why, like, when we talk about how it retreads, it just doesn't feel right to me, because yes, it retreads, and yes, like conceptually there's a lot going on here. There's beats that are similar, there is a lot that's similar, but it feels different from the sequels and similar to the first two that I actually care about to some degree. So I appreciate that about it. I think that the fucking look of this thing is beautiful. Like I said, the sound mixing and like the use of silence in this movie is fucking great. I love good use of silence. I like the camera work. I love like some of like all the CG stuff except for the one. I just think that decision was like is such a clunker and is so fan servicey as to be absurd and in poor taste, in my opinion. To try and like weasel Bilbo in there at the last minute, like, and like give him such a prominent role. It could have been any. If they really wanted to do that, they could have done that with fucking what's his dick from Prometheus,
Fassbender.
whatever that guy. Fassbender, yeah. Put Fassbender's dumb head on there instead. At least it will look real, like
That's
Ian
fair,
Holm did
yeah.
in the original movie. Like if you got a fan service, at least sell it to me instead of like just placing a turd on a platter and saying, here you go. I don't need that. I don't need that turd. So that's my biggest complaint for sure. A few of the fan servicey things, a lot of which I probably went way over my head just because I'm not immersed in this lore the way I am with other franchises. So I was very accepting of the stuff. The setup really helped me carry through the rest of the movie, and then the action carried me the rest of the way. I had a good time. I enjoyed myself. The people who were surrounding me were like jumping and saying, "Oh my god!" and like they were having a good fucking time. It was a good theater experience, and buddy, it's a good beer situation for me. So yeah, 4 out of 5.
All right, 4 from Randeezy. Jose, how do you feel?
Yeah, man. Like I said, I think I'm more like aligned with Justin. I was feeling most of the movie for the most part. The third act or surprise fourth act, I don't even know what you call it. That kind of dragged on way too much. I was like, yeah, this movie needed to be like 15 to 25 minutes shorter. I'd have been like, yeah. But no, like I said, another thing I don't think we brought up, I thought that face hugger scene was awesome. Like the one where they're like, okay, we gotta be quiet, just sneak past them. Even though it ends kind of stupid because you can't talk. And
They're
so
having a
hold
full
on,
on
I'm gonna answer my
conversation.
phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, hold on,
Right,
and it's just like Jesus Christ.
But I
dude.
love how tense both of those situations were,
Yeah.
to where you're like, "Shut up!" Oh wait, no, don't shut up. Oh fuck, should you shut up?
Finally, the
you
robot
don't
was
know
like,
it, but
dude,
you
just
should
fucking
know.
run. It's like Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall that, and like I said, the fucking deep fake Ash like kills tension there, because like the minute you see him, I'm like, well, you're clearly the main not Xeno bad guy. The moment you see him, I was like, maybe
Yeah.
you're diverted, but I doubt it, and they didn't. So like yeah, and but other than that, dude, like I said, the great practical effects, fucking I enjoyed the zero gravity scene. I thought that was dope because it solved the like, how do we kill the Xeno without it just melting a hole through the fucking ship? I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. That's clever. I like that. Y'all did good. Acting wise, Andy and Rain, they were the best. Everyone else was okay. They just didn't really have time to do nothing. They were just fodder. for the Xenos and facehuggers, and the big
That's the
Prometheus,
time-honored
the
tradition in
engineer,
itself. though.
engineer baby.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'm gonna come in with like, I'm so torn right now between the 3 and 3.5. I know I'll just go in the middle, 3.25. There we go. That's what I'll give this movie.
3.25 from Jose. Juice, how do you feel out of 5?
Yeah, I was entertained by this film for the most part, and really the biggest problems I have are any ties really to Prometheus, because its influences to Alien, I think, are handled with much more respect and much more like tact. Yes, it looks very similar. It takes place in the same time. What I think that this adds new to what would be like just as an Alien sequel is like fleshing out the relationship of the robot, which we talked about last week. We have this reveal always of it's this trope now of like, oh, somebody's a secret robot. I actually liked having the idea of a relationship with a robot that was damaged, because like one of the things, even in like Aliens, it's like they're fucking perfect and they're there to serve you, and that's your relationship with it. I liked this as like this emotional support of something that's like damaged that you like have to take care of, and or not take care of, but like are looking after. It feels more like a person in that way, because it's not perfect, and so you have more attached to it. And I thought those ideas were interesting, in that like the robot is loved more when it's damaged and not perfect, as opposed to like a perfect being or whatever. So I thought that was new and an interesting way to explore these things when you're living in this world where you got to have robots. So like, how can we do it different? I thought that they did it really well, and that performance was really good. I love like the setup, and I like the kind of, even though they're not fleshed out much, I like the relationship of the squad, them being kind of younger, their motivations of all losing their parents and feeling stuck in this location and being willing to risk this, and also being like kind of young and reckless. That guy, I thought that they handled it really well when they're doing the launch scene, and you show how young and reckless they are when he's like doing the cigarette thing. I thought that was great.
I
Like
forgot about that.
that was
Yeah.
so fun, but
That's cool.
it also made me think like, oh, this young stupid guy. Like it made me think of watching like a young brother or something. Like it's entertaining and fun, but you're like, don't fucking do that. But also it's like, yeah, you're young and do that.
Grow up!
I thought they set all that up. I liked the infusion of the action. I love the zero gravity. Maybe some of it with like how many xenomorphs they had was maybe a little extreme. I liked that, but I liked the face huggers being a lot more of like a threat too, instead of like just the things that attach to your mouth, like them running from them and being like more threats equal to like the xenomorph was cool. It really is this fucking fan service bullshit that's the worst parts for me. It looks like garbage. It doesn't fit the story. It doesn't fit the tone. The fucking get away from her, you bitch. It's like, please treat us viewers with some fucking respect. Like it just feels pandery, and it's sloppy, and it looks like garbage, and it's so frustrating, because I really do think if those things were replaced or taken out, I think you could make a cut of this film if you could somehow replace that dude's face. It's like a really, really, really good sequel. um yeah, I'm gonna give this, I think I'm gonna rate this the same that I did Prometheus, because I think they're on kind of opposite ends of the scale, where Prometheus like had similar problems of like attaching itself to Alien, but it looked great and had some cool ideas, but like the old man makeup looked like janky as shit, and some of the action scenes were bullshit. I think this one like handles the action well. It looks amazing, but like this fucking robot looks like bullshit, and they have to infuse some fucking Prometheus bullshit. So I'm gonna give it a 3.5.
Jose, what did you say? 3 or 3.5?
3.25.
Yeah,
Jose said
3.25.
3.25.
Okay, that's okay. Gotcha.
All right,
Bob?
3.5
Bob?
from Juice.
Carry us home.
It's time, brother. Let's go.
Oh boy, here we go.
This movie really feels kind of like, you guys remember that Chris Farley's skit from SNL where he just keeps bringing up like, hey, remember you guys when you released Abbey Road? That was great. He just keeps like referencing things that happened previously in this like quote interview he's doing. And that's just what this movie feels like to me. It's just mostly referencing shit that happened in other Alien movies. And like we all know, because we've all seen them, the climax of this movie really is like the exact same climax as Alien, like slightly altered, of course, but it's the same exact thing. Yeah, all the technical aspects in this are great. It looks great. It really does. And I appreciate that they went practical as well as they could with the stuff. And all that works. It did just feel for the first like half of it or so, like I was watching somebody play a video game though. Obviously the deep fake CGI face is like awful. It's definitely the worst part of it. There's like just unnecessary references and it's lousy with them. I watched the first Alien movie like just before I went to go watch Romulus. I wish I hadn't, because it just like made the comparison like even more stark. Like I don't know, man. Like there's not much fresh here. I do like the setup, like we've been through. I just wish that it carried that freshness throughout. As soon as they go up into space, it's like they're just kind of doing the same beats. There's a handful of like really shitty jump scares in here too, like the giant melted hole in the floor with the half android laying there. Like nobody sees it somehow, and it's like they use it as a jump scare. I don't know. There's a handful of moments like that, and like some of these pieces that are supposed to like build tension, like when they're trying to be quiet and like raise the temperature of the room, felt like very forced and silly, like a video game moment to me. Same thing with the acid spinning through the air. Just felt like a level of a video game is what it didn't feel like a movie to me. Just generally not super impressed with the story in any way, I guess. It's not the worst in the franchise for sure. There's been worse. But I just don't think it's bringing anything new to the table really here. So I'm gonna give it like a 2.5 down the middle, I think, just for like all of the aesthetics of it, all the practical effects. They clearly did put a lot of work into that side of it, and I think all that really works. But this just reeks of like a Star Warsification of the fucking Alien franchise. It's pandering and it's boring, and I'm sick of it in general. I think if like we hadn't had a decade full of shit like this, I wouldn't be so annoyed.
Yeah.
But like I see this filmmaker who can make a gorgeous movie. And like maybe there was a lot of meddling. I don't know. Maybe more information will come out about that. But it just feels like we should have had something great. And for my money, this is like middling bullshit, and I find it boring. So
That's so fucking fascinating to me. Everything you said, I feel like could be described of just about any movie in this franchise.
I agree.
Like excluding Prometheus, well, to a lesser extent, Covenant, and like the original. Like because
I would say
you're right to say
including
that those
Prometheus.
tried. Well, I think they tried something. I think that's a fair statement to say those movies tried something outside of the box, completely different. But I just feel like if you're looking at the rest of this franchise, excluding those, after the first one, it's all been like rinse and repeat. Like there's always been a fourth act. Oh no, it's not dead. It's on board situation. There's always
Yeah,
been like,
but
and then they survive, and always been like this replicant is
But
not really a person, and are they good? Are they bad? Like
I get
I don't know.
get that is like kind of a trope of Alien. There's like a surprise, like fourth act or like a stinger ending or something.
Mhm.
But like it's just it's so similar.
I
in
think
this,
you're
like,
extra. Like, and to be fair, you're right. Like I listened to your your
Ghostbusters,
Ghostbusters review and
Frozen
and with
Empire,
and
yeah.
and fucking maybe next week, like we're talking about Beetleman and stuff like that. Like it's
Ugh,
it's time. Like
exhausting.
and part of it is like, and I'm frustrated with my peers in some of this. It's like part of this is our fucking fault. You
Yeah,
know,
they make
like
money, so they keep
yeah,
doing it.
exactly.
They keep doing it.
And like we got that people got the fucking figurines and they got all the little things
The
that make some
popcorn buckets that look like
references
dicks
to
and
it.
pussies.
Yeah,
The
I mean,
blues.
like
The blue-
part. I mean, it's millennials' fault that this shit
First,
is
come
so
like every
successful.
blues.
Like
Well, I
everything
mean, to
else.
be fair, you got to take some responsibility. This is one of those things that is millennials' fault.
Well,
Welcome
it's just
everyone
like
to
Well, I
Straight
think
Booming.
it's a mixture of a lot
Yeah.
of shit, like streaming. I mean, it's not. Yeah, people are going to the movies and they're watching it and it's making money, so they keep doing it.
Yeah,
But there's more than just the nostalgia baitiness of
But,
it. But it's
there's-
part of it. Yeah.
It's part of it. It's just gotten more like I don't think it's any different than like 19 sequels to Friday the 13th. It's the same like money grab situation. It's
That's-
over and over
yeah,
again.
yeah.
It's just that now
more
it's more
efficient.
refined, and they have the internet to really like completely socially engineer the exact right phrase
Yeah.
that needs to be referenced so that they can make a T-shirt out of it.
I think
Like,
there was more
that's-
money going around back then to like mid-level movies, though, and
Yes,
there's
that's
less
true.
of that now because
Yeah.
of there are a lot of things. Anyway, we're not.
There's
we're
less
not,
willingness. Yeah, I don't know.
That's a
Like,
whole
there's less
nother
willingness to step
show,
outside
yeah.
the box.
So that's going to put the aggregate for this at a 3.3. Let's go ahead and jump into our Rotten Tomatoes segment. See what the critics and users think.
All right. In this segment, we're going to see two critics yell at each other for half an hour about how repetitive this movie is. No, this is the Rotten Tomatoes segment in which I'm going to have these gentlemen guess within the best of their abilities what the aggregate positive score is on RottenTomatoes.com for Alien Romulus, starting with critics and then moving on to the users. Starting with the critics, as I said, there are 273 critic reviews for this film. I'm going to start with our esteemed guest, Jose, who unfortunately came on a very us-heavy week.
Oh no!
Yeah,
it
sorry,
was
dude.
great.
We're just
It was
bitching
amazing.
at each other.
I was like, yes, give me more. I was like, yes, let this meat flow through y'all. I was like,
It's like being in, I don't know. It's dumb. But 273 reviews, Jose. Out of those 273 reviews, what would you say as the aggregate positive score? How many of those were positive? Or what
so I
percentage?
think like most of the critics like this. I haven't heard no one say nothing really bad critic wise. I
Mhm.
think that's probably because everyone hated Covenant. They were just like, oh wait, we'll take this. Thank God, yes. So I'm gonna guess the greatest year Toyota Corolla ever made, which is 86.
Oh yeah, that's as
Nice.
that's as good of a reason as any.
Nice.
Hilarious. The best year, the vintage
That's
Corolla.
right.
Still rolling.
All right, Juice, we're gonna give you the middle rung here. What do you
Whoa.
think that the out of those 273, what percentage are positive reviews?
I'm meat today. I will. I think critics are gonna be a little harsh on this because like they should be on like some of the bullshit that's going on here. So I'm gonna drop it a little bit. I'll say 65.
65. All right, Bob, we got 65. We got 86. Where are you going with this one?
I feel like the vibe of this is like really mixed. I don't fucking know, honestly.
Yeah.
It seems like Slack folks are like kind of all over the place, and like I listened to a million
Yeah.
voicemails that we got this week, and people are all over the place. So I don't. Critics though, like I don't fucking know. It's an Alien sequel. It looks great. I'll go with 75.
Very confident guess from Rob there. Yeah, okay, so we got 65, 75, 86. Well, I got news for y'all. There is 5 percentage points difference between the closest guess and the correct answer, and just 1 percentage point difference between that and the next closest. The correct answer is 81%. Our guest Jose is going to take this one
Hey!
away.
Nice.
There you go.
The Corolla
Sir,
never lets you down.
Shout out to Initial D. I guess I'll combine both. I'm gonna give a Yeeter Skeeter. How about that?
Whoa, hell yeah.
Oh, wow, a Yeeter Skeeter.
Very,
Ooh, I
very
like that.
diplomatic.
That's very southern. We got them
Nice.
Yeeter Skeeters in this one.
Yeah, skeet.
Yeeter Skeeter season.
Yeah, skater.
All right.
Nice.
Let's jump over to the audience score. There are 2,500 plus verified ratings for this film already. I gotta say, man, Rob, you were dead on. Like this movie got people out and ready to
Yeah.
fight, and it's as evidenced by this fucking show.
Bob, you're full of
So
shit.
yeah, there's a.
I'm gonna shit down your throat.
Oh man,
Team
But no,
Romulus.
so, yeah, there-
match.
God.
Vengeance will be mine, blood.
You're the blowhole. I'm not the blowhole. You're the blowhole.
No, no, you're the blowhole. You're the blow.
I know you are, but what am I?
You bitch!
All right. So there are 2,500 plus verified ratings. We're going to go in reverse order, which means, Bob, you're going to get the first bite at the apple here. What percentage of those are positive?
I believe this is going to be lower than the critics. I'll take the comedy number of 69, please.
69, dudes!
Thank you.
69 dudes for Bob. Juice, you got that middle rung. Where are you coming in on?
I do agree. This is gonna be like I'm kind of surprised by those critics, though, to be honest. This is tough. Yeah, this feels like it's kind of all over the board, and it really could land a lot of different spots. I think I'll go under again and say 60.
60. Okay. So we got a 60 from Juice, a 69 from Bob. Jose, bring us home. Where are you going with this one?
Yeah, it's been mixed all over Slack. People are like, "This fucking sucks." Some are like, "Oh, this is amazing." Shit, I would have went. I'm gonna go. I'm a $1 Bob. Give me a 70.
Ooh, the 70.
Ooh,
All right.
I like it when you're next to me.
Hey,
The price is wrong.
You bitch!
Oh my
All
god.
right. So yeah, let's do some quick brain thinking here. Yeah, okay. So 4 percentage points away from glory here. Just 4. Narrowing the
Oh,
gap
shit.
is gonna be Jose again, 86% positive.
Whoa.
Corolla.
look at that, another Corolla. I should have guessed that.
Wait,
coulda Corolla'd it.
86% positive?
Yeah. 86% positive on
That's
the
16%
audience score.
different.
Did I do that wrong? I did that
Well,
wrong.
he's like,
I was
Yeah.
like
16%.
the numbers are not.
Damn it.
matching.
I was looking.
It's like,
Way to
what's
pay attention,
happening?
Juice.
Yeah, nice. Thank you for pointing that out.
We're
so that
all
I
like,
can be
cool.
humbled.
No, I'm like, wait,
Yeah.
did I win? Yes. I'm
Okay,
like,
yes,
you
but Jose still did
still
win.
won.
Yeah.
You
Still
still
won.
won.
Still won.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
You're
that's
still the
another-
highest.
Hell,
Whoa.
Yeeter Skeeter, let's go.
Whoa,
A
Yeeter
sweeper.
Skeeter Sweeper.
Damn. First one we've ever
damn.
had.
Nice, congratulations.
We've never had a sweeper before.
Wow, those numbers are a lot more positive than I was anticipating, which is
Yeah.
Me too.
Means we're gonna get
People are
more of the
reacting
same
on-
shit.
Also,
I
let
feel-
me be fair. I did hear some of the criticisms like of this film going like not a lot. I wasn't seeking anything out, just the general vibe of like people are being like, oh, so disappointed. So I did go in this one with like lowered expectations, but I even said when I saw the trailer, like, I just watched one trailer, it's like, God damn, they gave too much away and it looked very generic, and that lowered my expectations too. So I went in pretty low. I think that always
Nice.
helps.
I actually think that helped me too. Like
Nice.
I didn't watch any of the trailers, but everybody was
Me
saying how
either.
amazing it was. I was like, that's a cue for me.
Yeah.
I remember 2016 pretty well. I'm ready to be disappointed. So yeah, anyway, our critics' consensus reads as follows: honoring its nightmarish predecessors while chest bursting at the seams with new frights of its own, Romulus injects some fresh acid blood into one of cinema's great horror
Jesus.
franchises.
Oh my
yeah.
god.
Man.
Oh my
Whoa. Some
God.
fresh acid. That didn't even make sense.
Ugh.
That didn't make
Xenomorph is
sense.
impregnating into theaters.
Fresh blood.
Fresh acid blood into
Ugh.
this scene. Like, would that what?
Too
Oh
many,
my-
too many,
It's
too
no.
many.
They're really
I don't know.
really trying way too hard there.
Yeah, man, that was a lot. That was a whole lot. Love it. I love it and hate it. It's just how I am. All right,
Whose
Alienish
dad
chest
wrote that?
bursting in a theater.
Right.
dude. Yeah.
Blasting
all
black
right.
goo into theater.
Oh god, the fucking black goo just needs to go away. It needs to
We're just
die.
normal men.
They need to cut that out.
That stain ain't coming
don't
out.
think that's gonna-
Juice.
That's a Ridley stain. You're not getting rid of that stain
Dude,
easy.
It's not.
Um,
Somebody needs to tell that guy it's not working.
The Scott stain.
I'll tell you who's
Forever.
gonna tell him. It's gonna be the studio. Like the second he dies, they're gonna fucking AI his
Alright, let's
body
steal
into a
his
fucking
face.
replicant so he can direct this
Oh.
with the
I
prime
really
directive
wanna-
of making money.
I really want to know the kind of like legal aspects of taking this dead man and putting him in this film.
I'm
4
sure
years
his
later.
estate
Had
was
to have
like,
been
"You're
an-
gonna give us how much money?"
That's
Okay.
Yeah.
not, I mean, but can you like his estate, but like, can you just sign people's
I don't know.
faces and voices away? Like,
Apparently, I don't.
Jose,
That,
you-
I don't know if that's gonna
how?
last.
How?
What's up now?
Oh, you look like you were
What?
leaning in to say
Oh
something.
no, no.
I'll-
I mean, according to us, I mean, if we die at Disneyland, I mean, it doesn't matter because we
Dude,
signed
that
up
shit
Disney
is
Plus.
insane.
So I don't see why
Yeah, I
not.
don't-
We can just use this dead guy's body and voice. Yeah, sure, why not?
I agree
Yeah,
to
By the way,
nothing.
by listening to this podcast, you abdicate your rights to a bank account. You have to forcibly give that to us.
Yes.
to
I
clarify
own
that
your credit card
story,
numbers now.
a woman was served a meal that had something she was allergic to in it and died, right?
Even
at
though she
Disney?
specifically told
Said
them
It was
not
at
to.
Disney
Yeah.
Springs, and they said they confirmed it. But also, I've read that that is technically not a restaurant owned by Disney. It's a Disney Springs, like somebody else owns it technically.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
So
yeah,
I
yeah.
think that there is an argument to be had, but not about the fucking Disney Plus terms and
Yeah.
agreements
Yeah.
argument.
So that's what.
That
So
is
there was
evil
in the
shit.
terms and agreements on your Disney fucking Plus account. You're abdicating any sort of liability.
no,
to
you're
Disney.
abdicating the right to a public
Lawsuit,
trial,
Yeah.
a public lawsuit. You have to do it in
Oh.
private arbitration so that they can't
Fuck
get mud on their
them, dude.
shoes. You know?
Okay.
Yeah, fuck them for real.
Wow.
Um,
That's fucking nuts.
Fucking
That is
Disney,
fucked.
dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I've been to Disney Springs. It's the restaurants are like they're all
So
chains.
you're
that
the
you could,
problem, boss.
You could eat at anywhere. It's me. I'm the one
Oh,
making
with your
billions
dollar.
off of your nostalgia.
Coming soon,
You
to
keep-
Xenomorph World.
All your buying blues and going to Disney, Bob. You're
All
just
your
feeding the
buying-
machine. You're the millennial
Stan-
problem, Bob.
Hey,
Dude,
hey, I wish I saw this on the couch, man. I wish.
straight
I
straight
didn't
chilling
buy
land
a
is going to be
$30
killer, though. I gotta
popcorn
say,
bucket or whatever.
I
the
will be
fuck.
there no matter what for straight chicken.
Straight chilling land.
the opening of Straight Chilling Land is going to be just like wall to wall
Oh.
blues
All right,
everywhere
we
you
gotta-
go.
We got to keep. We have
Hooters,
so
Hooters
much.
everywhere.
Okay.
Straight chilling
So
land.
much left.
One
to do.
negative review, and then we'll move on from the critics. Let's go at random here. Let's see. At its most ruthlessly efficient, it has a certain big sci-fi movie sweep to it, as well as some nail-biting action. But boy, has this franchise gotten pointlessly ugly. What the fuck? That's the last word I would use to describe this entry into the movie,
Yeah, I
in the
know.
franchise. Ugly? In what way?
And it's CGI.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, yes, okay, that part, yes, but I'm like everything around
Yes,
that is
no,
like
everything
gorgeous.
else is, yeah, it looks fantastic. That opening
Oh.
scene was so exciting. I love that opening scene.
Me too, man. Just like the level of blackness on the
Ugh.
ship, just emphasizing how isolated it is.
Little
It's fucking great.
buttons turning on and so good.
Love it.
Ooh, those buttons turning on, turn me on. I
really
fucking
push
That
sprayed
hits my
button.
buttons.
black goo all over my shorts.
Damn, you need to see a doctor.
Nah, it's normal. I'm down with the Scott sickness.
Bob's an engineer. It's cool.
What ain't? Damn, that sucks. But it comes down to the trivia. There's, it's a new movie. There's a little bit, nothing super interesting. I do want to highlight that the budget of this was 80 million and it made opening weekend 108 million worldwide. So it's doing well. The rest of it's not really of any consequence. So let's go ahead and jump into our cooter of the week.
Straight chillin'. Gooder of the week.
Juice, what is the cooter and why do we hunt them?
Well, Cooter's character type and a straight chillin' exclusive. Cooter has to hit 3 of these 5 points to be considered a cooter, but we want the cooter with the most points. Bob, you trying to run down the cooter points in your mini cast is pretty
Oh.
hilarious. You're like,
I'm pretty loosey goosey with it.
pretty
yeah.
loose, yeah.
People
But
know. They
let's see
know.
how loose Jose is. Jose, do you
Man,
think
how
you
many
can?
how much on a scale of 1 to 10, how much did you expect to hear that exact phrase here tonight?
I've been waiting for Juice to tell me that for
Oh
years.
yeah. Jose, are you gonna keep it loose? You're gonna keep it tight. Do you think you can give us the 5 points of cooterdom?
Yes, the 5 points of cooterdom are smug arrogance, manipulation, looking attire, overall patheticness, and my personal favorite, Sexual deviance.
Whoa, nailed
I
it.
don't recommend.
Ooh.
I don't recommend taking favorites of points of cooterdom, but sure.
That's a true cooter hunter right there. All right, boys. Do we have any cooters this week?
favorite. Sexual deviance.
Damn.
To hunt the cooter, one must become the cooter.
Shit.
I
God
must
Hell yeah.
think
Feeling
a
like I
cooter.
got a damn bowling ball in my cooter.
God
All
damn.
right.
God damn. God damn. That's not tight. We got it's
It's
the
a lot of
fucking
goddams.
God damn. It's
God damn.
Bob, you're just so vanilla.
Sorry, Rob. We brought the heat tonight.
Spicy.
oh my God. What else are you? I mean, that's no kink shame. You do whatever you want.
Oh man.
I'm sorry. Was that your auntie?
Yeah, go on.
Going for that turkey. You know what I'm saying?
Kind of.
Hooter.
No.
It's 3 strikes in bowling. That's it. That's what a turkey is. Don't get crazy.
Uh-huh.
Then no, I
Uh-huh.
didn't know what you're talking.
That's what a turkey is.
Then no. I was
Justin
going
was
a little
imagining
more
you deep
literal.
throating a turkey leg.
God
Jesus
damn.
Christ.
Get that
Fucking
meat in
deboning that
me.
motherfucker just
Yeah.
Oh god.
Like a cartoon
Hey,
character like
I've-
Scooby Doo.
I've been to Disney, okay?
You're the problem.
That hot meat.
Oh my god.
Cooter, Rook. It's Rook, right? The half robot that's
All right.
CGI'd.
Okay, so he
I
looks
mean,
like
look at
shit.
a tire.
Stealing a
Look at
man's
the tire.
face. Yes. Let's
That's
go ahead and
overall
give that.
patheticness. That's
Yeah.
Also,
This is my best impression of it.
God damn. So manipulation, yes. Smug
Nick is,
arrogance.
Andy, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, built in. It's tough with the robots.
The
'cause,
robots.
you
Yeah.
know, it's built in. Like Andy has the same
Programmed.
priorities and the same like perceived arrogance by people who value life.
Kind of, but
So-
I don't know. There does seem to be some kind of choices though, because it does still seem like Andy is serving both of his drives. Like he still has like the sub drive
He's
of
trying
like,
to.
yeah, so like he does less things to like put them in like sheer like harm's way or whatever. So I don't know. The other one, since he doesn't have that built in, seems more arrogant, I guess.
He does, but like when he gets that new directive, he's like, "Oh, okay." It's
Yeah,
like he's not
yeah.
bothered by it. So I
Yeah.
don't know.
I
It's
did
hard to
like
pin
that
down, is all I'm
aspect too
saying.
of somebody who's like, from a robot standpoint, of somebody who's broken and is always looked down on and not trusted, and then to be given like you're made whole or you're made smart or you're made to have like capabilities, and like having to like choose to let that go. That was a cool new aspect too that I liked that they brought in. I
You know,
liked that.
I had a fleeting moment during this movie where like they had that thing where she's like, "Now from now on, your directive is to do what's best for me and you," and he's like, "Oh, great," and it's like a nice moment. I had this fleeting thought where I was like, "Well, the other girl's still alive. I wonder if he's gonna like."
Mm.
Recognize she has like alien shit in her
Inside
and see it as a
throw
threat
her
and
out.
destroy her like and that
Mm.
would be a real fucking
That
very
would have
cool
been,
closer
that
to
would
the
have been
movie.
probably better than the fucking engineer, baby.
I agree. Yeah.
Good call, right?
I still
See,
like the
that's why
engineer
we
baby,
should
though.
edit scripts. All right. So yeah, I think the robot man can get it. Is there anybody else that we
Oh, he
could
can
give
get it.
this to?
I mean, maybe the cousin. The only other
Maybe.
The cousin's just kind of a shithead.
He's kind of shitty. Yeah, he's got some smug arrogance. He's
Robo-racist.
unnecessarily cruel, yeah, towards Andy, which would be like kind of pathetic.
coming
I
from a
guess.
reason though.
Yeah.
It's hard to it's
Yeah.
flexy. I think Rook is the best case we're gonna
Yeah,
get.
I
because
think
everybody
so,
else is just
yeah.
fighting for survival in this movie.
Yeah.
Got him. Rook and also Disney in general. We got him.
Disney, yeah,
Lock 'em
Disney's the
up.
cooter. Yes, I think we can
Ultimate
definitely
cooter.
say
And
that one.
anyone who supports them.
That fucking
Yeah.
mouse.
How many times have you been to Disney this year, Rob?
Got that seasonal
None,
pass,
I
right?
don't think. No,
Oh,
I've
wow,
never,
okay,
I've
alright.
never done that.
I've never
Um,
set foot there myself.
Cool. That's a
No.
lie, right? That's definitely a lie.
It's absolutely a lie.
You lived in Florida for way too long.
Yeah, you
Okay.
can't live in Florida and not go to Disney.
Not
Well,
ever
I'm
go
pretty
to
sure we've
Disney.
been together, but maybe I'm wrong. Anyway, go ahead.
Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, theme parks, they're fine. We got him. Rook locked him up. Throw away the key.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna skip what we've been watching because we got 8,000 voicemails this week. So let's go ahead and jump
Whoa.
into our hotline screams.
Hotline scream.
There's no clear indication as to how much of a hot button this movie is right now than how many fucking
Oh,
voicemails we
yeah.
suddenly
Right.
got after
People
months of
need to
almost
vent.
silence.
Yeah,
The
vent
phone keeps
about it.
ringing. If
We
you
got
guys are
multiples
listening,
from people.
if you guys are listening and would like to call in to leave a voicemail about whatever the fuck, hit us up at 904-638-3231. We're gonna get through as many as we can. We got like 6, I think. First up, we're gonna hear from Michael. See what he's got to say.
Hey guys, Michael here, third time listener, first time caller. Let's talk Alien Romulus. I saw it opening night. I think the franchise has been trying to recapture the high of the first movie ever since Alien 3, and I think this is the first time that they have truly succeeded in delivering that experience. I'm a little conflicted about Rook. I'm of two minds about it. But overall, I think it was definitely a 5-star movie-going experience. Excited to hear your take on it. Keep up the good work. Can't wait.
Oh,
So the theme of this is going to be,
experience.
yeah, nobody's going to be happy
Whoa.
with what they've just listened to. I think,
Right?
And then Civil War. Just
The Civil War.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it, Michael. That's
Yeah.
me too.
that's cool.
I had a great time. So Rook notwithstanding.
Poor man. Thanks for calling in, man. Thanks for listening. Glad you enjoyed the movie. Something I meant to mention on last week's episode that I'll mention right now. Like exactly 1 year ago, we reviewed Alien 3, and we got a call from a dude from Ireland named Johnny, and he requested that we end up reviewing Alien Resurrection, which we finally did last week. And I meant to mention it then because it was like the timing was crazy. It was like exactly 1 year ago he called and asked us to talk about it. But he's calling in yet again with some more thoughts. So let's hear what Johnny has to say.
Straight Cheddar, and this is Johnny from Cork, Ireland. You might remember me from such episodes as Prometheus and the drunken rant after Prometheus. Love the show, guys. I tried to give you guys a call because I threatened to call you if you ever came back to the Xenomorph universe, and you did an interesting pod on Alien Resurrection. Scores, I don't know what the fuck you guys are drinking when you were watching that movie, man. Alien Resurrection is a goddamn dumpster fire. But anyway, you threw out the question to rank the Alien movies. So I can't separate. I thought to give you a call. I can't separate the first two movies. I think Alien is the perfect horror movie. I think Aliens is the perfect sci-fi action horror romp. Alien 3, I think, is a beautiful send-off to Ripley's story. I think it's exactly what Ripley's character needed. She couldn't escape her demons, couldn't escape her monsters, which is also why I fucking despise fucking Alien Resurrection. But anyways, I did love your show. I did love your insight into it. I thought your guest presenter was really, really good. He brought some good extra eyes to the movie that I hadn't realized before. Your insight into the foreign, the French director's eyes, I thought was pretty cool, because I think Aliens, as we know, is an allegory for the Vietnam War. So I thought that was pretty cool. Anyways, listen, that's it. I'm done. I'm gonna watch Romulus during the week, and I will call you guys back. I'm really happy that you are in the Xenomorph universe again. I have one small problem with the show last week. You were culturally appropriating leprechauns, guys. Leprechauns aren't from Alabama. Motherfuckers, leprechauns are from fucking Ireland. They sneak in on the wheelings of Aer Lingus planes to go to America. Everybody knows that. All right. Love you guys. Anyways, see you next week. Who are you expecting? Santa Claus?
I do not remember us talking about leprechauns last week.
Talked about the leprechaun sighting near in Alabama near Michael's house.
Oh, Michael, yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah.
The-
Shout outs to
that-
Michael,
hey.
yeah,
Yeah.
for coming on last
Yeah,
week. Yeah.
That was you're gonna have to look up the leprechaun sighting, my guy, because that's what we're referencing. Otherwise, yeah, I've never heard of an American leprechaun outside of the Warwick Davis movies. So, you know,
Yeah. That news
I'm with
story
you on that.
is hilarious. It's on
Shit's
YouTube
so
somewhere.
funny, it's classic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good
This
shit.
amateur sketch.
Right.
It doesn't get much more amateur than that
kills me
sketch.
every time.
It's like 3 lines. It's
Yeah.
This amateur
That's the
sketch.
economy of line, Rob. That's a very valid artistic method.
art.
Oh my god.
Art. It's whatever.
Yeah.
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 That was it was good to hear from somebody who really just wanted to shit down that movie's neck, because we were very I
Dying
think we were
to,
pretty
yeah.
charitable to it last week. You know, and not without reason, but it's good to hear the voice of the vocal
The
majority
hate.
towards that movie. You know,
The hate.
what did you think of that, Jose?
Of what,
Resurrection.
Of Resurrection.
Yeah.
Alright, it's okay. It's
Okay,
something to
alright.
watch, just to laugh at. It's nothing like it's
something
background
to
noise.
watch.
That's what I look at it.
I think
Fair
that's
enough.
totally fair. Yeah.
I was reading a post recently. I don't think it was on our Slack. I think it was like somewhere else. It just after we covered Resurrection, and it was like Fincher and that director, what's this, Genet or something, right after they made their Alien films, they both released their most like famous classic films, with Fincher releasing Seven right after that, and then Genet releasing Amelie or whatever, however you
really?
pronounce that film.
Yeah.
And so yes, like
Amelie, I believe.
Amelie's.
Amelie.
Yeah.
Amelie.
So yeah. It was
Keep
just
an eye out for
interesting.
Fede then.
Yeah.
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 Fede's about to get an Academy Award next year. Calling it now.
Yeah. See, they got to keep making alien movies, otherwise you never get phone calls again. man.
Got to.
They will.
They got to
will.
now because it's the only thing making money.
Yeah. Thanks for calling, Johnny. Looking forward to your thoughts on Alien Romulus. Next up, we're going to hear from Matt. Let's hear what he's got to say.
Hey guys, it's Bridge Troll Matt. I'm calling in about your prompt about local legends and cryptids and stuff. I grew up in Western Kentucky, southern Western Kentucky, and I have 2 actually. Hey guys, it's Bridge Troll Matt. I'm calling in about your prompt about local legends and cryptids and stuff. I grew up in Western Kentucky, southern Western Kentucky, and I have 2 actually. So outside of Hopkinsville, in a small town called Kelly, in 1955, there was a local family that was apparently attacked by metal goblins. One of the sons said he saw a flying saucer fly over their house and land in the woods that was trailed by a glowing rainbow. And then multiple metal goblins attacked the family and barricaded themselves in the house, and apparently got in a shootout with the goblins. And this shootout went on for multiple hours. It finally stopped. They went to Hopkinsville and got the police chief. Police chief came out and saw that they had totally destroyed their fucking house. Like the house was just blew all to hell from all the gunfire. But they never found any of the goblins. So the cops leave because there's nothing they can do. And I guess later on that night, about 2 a.m, the goblins come back and it happens all over again. The story becomes a legend, a local legend. People start coming from miles around and to look at their farm and start stealing pieces of their farm to a point where they had to move away. The other one is right across the border in Tennessee, in Adams, Tennessee. It's about the Bell Witch. And apparently there's this family that was haunted by a poltergeist. And it was like tying their hair to the bed frames and throwing rocks through their ceiling and shit. and eventually the ghost ends up killing the father. The ghost talked to them multiple times. Visitors would come over, and the ghost would talk to them. And it actually says on the father's death certificate he was poisoned by the ghost. Some people think that a local woman named Kathy Batts was the witch, but a lot of people defended her, saying since she wasn't dead, she couldn't be the poltergeist. But I don't think those people know how fucking witches work. So maybe she was onto it. There in Adams, Tennessee, they put on a play for 2 or 3 weekends in October about the haunting. So if you're in the area, you should drive over there and see that. And there's multiple books on it. I've listened to one where the author took it in another direction and said that the daughter was psychically haunting her own father due to abuse. I don't know how much historical accuracy that has, but it was a really good book. Anyway, I hope I beat.
Okay, that got cut off, but I got to start with how much historical accuracy are you expecting from the tidbit that a girl was psychically haunting her father?
Hey,
Matt?
Dude,
shit
is that
happens.
Kathy Bates?
Kathy, we need an E in there. We really need an E in there. I also love people don't know how witches work. It's like, well, I guess so, but I mean,
Matt
does anyone?
knows. Matt knows. What's going on in
Yeah.
Alabama and Kentucky, man? These southern
Dude.
states got some wild shit.
You know what the last thing I'm gonna do is? The last thing I'm gonna do is go out to a farmhouse that twice was blasted by its own residents to
Yeah.
take a piece of it, to steal
Yeah.
something from it. That's the last thing I'm gonna fucking do.
We're the aliens.
You're not even an Iron Goblin. Like,
I kind of loved that. I imagined that story in the style of Mars Attacks, and it was so fucking beautiful. I gotta say.
I know.
It's
I was
a
like, I've
great
heard enough.
story.
I need this movie now.
They just kind of came back. They're just like hid in the woods and teeed until everybody left again. And in reality, it's just this family like getting drunk and taking pot shots at each other.
It's called meth, Randy.
I'm glad you said it because I thought it. I was like,
oh yeah,
drunk on meth.
Ah, yes.
I'm meth
That
drunk.
meth
Ooh.
drunkenness.
Ooh, I'm gonna feel this one tomorrow.
Yes, you are.
Yeah,
God damn.
great stuff.
Yeah, thanks for calling, Matt.
Gonna feel it in your teeth.
pretty interesting story.
Ah man, the meth's really hitting me.
God
Gonna
damn.
need this one
My
pulled.
teeth are falling out.
That's how you know it's the good shit. Let's maybe do one more. Squeak in one more here real quick. We'll save the others for next week. Let's wrap up with Miles. Let's hear what he's got to say.
What's up, fellas? It's Miles. I called earlier a couple of days ago about this movie, but I don't remember what I said. I think I was just cursing for 90 seconds, so I thought I'd leave a more well thought out voicemail on my opinions about Alien Romulus. I hated this movie. I literally could not hate a movie more, and which you might say, Miles, this isn't a terribly made movie. And I would agree, no, it's not terribly made. There's actually quite a few things I liked about it. In fact, things I loved about it for the first, I'd say 30, 40 minutes. But then we got to the CGI, deep fake of dead actors. We got just endless callbacks of other movies that are better. And they got callbacks to the prequels, Prometheus and Covenant, which I think fundamentally ruined the series. And I talked to, after I saw the movie, I was talking to our boy, Hydraberg, shout out to Hydraberg from A Cut Above. And I explained to him like this. You know how there are movies you love despite fundamentally knowing it's not a good movie, quote unquote, but you love it anyways. This is the exact opposite for me. Like, I understand this is not the worst movie ever made, but it just has everything in modern movies I absolutely cannot stand, and I am so tired. I'm so tired of these big franchise films, just trying to jerk us off and just nostalgia bait and the deep fakes and the remember this and remember that. I'm like, well, I remember all that. Do your own shit. Like, it's just I'm sick of this. Ghostbusters Afterlife, which I didn't see, but I've heard it's like this, and just these big franchise legacy sequels, I think I'm just done with them. I'd much rather go back and watch older movies, or there's so many new original IPs that came out this year, and I'm just done with these. I don't like it makes me sad more than mad, and I don't really like talking about movies like I don't enjoy or consuming them. So I think for right now, we know when Friday the 13th Part 7 D5 comes out or is announced and everybody loses their shit about it, I think I'm probably good. When they reboot Halloween, everybody goes, "Oh God, it's back." I'm just gonna skip it. I'm good. All right. Talk to you guys later.
That's what we need.
Way more cogent than I was expecting from.
Well, this was his second attempt. The first one was just nothing but cursing and squelching. Yeah, that was the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a fair reaction, honestly.
I think so too, yeah.
Like, I am also very tired of franchise movies, but like, if I submit myself to one, I do try and meet it halfway and be like, look, this is a new film. Like, at least in this case, it's a new filmmaker taking a whack at it. Let's see what they got. That version of repeat, I can live with. That's the Evil Dead model. I like that model. But like, yeah, I agree that like the thing is, like, the Alien franchise is so devoted to its lore and everything that you can't necessarily have an insular episode, at least not the same way that you can with Evil Dead. You know what I mean?
Also, too,
So,
amongst people who love this film or hate this film, I think like the common denominator is nobody's saying, you know what I really liked about this film is the fake person referencing the other film. Like, somebody approved that. Somebody spent money on that. Somebody wrote that. Somebody, like, it had to go through a process of that happening. How does this happen? Nobody wants it. Nobody likes it.
It's like a Disney thing. I don't. Maybe it happens elsewhere, but like Disney has done it in multiple of their Star Wars movies, and now in this, and those. That's what I'm aware of. I don't know. Maybe if you guys know.
The thing I can't. No, off the top of my head, I can't think of anything.
Why? Who's
I
like
don't know.
who's making somebody do this? Like, who is just got it set in their mind that this is what needs to happen? I just don't.
I think this might be the tipping point for that. Like, I don't know.
I don't know, dude. Somebody's got stake in whatever CGI program does all that, and like,
I guess
they're getting cheesed up or something, you know.
I think that honestly, like, the common denominator, yes, I will agree. Like, that's the thing that everybody can hang their hat and say, like, this sucks. And there's not going to be a whole lot of people saying differently. I will argue that like everything else around that kind of depends on what baggage you're bringing into this movie. Like, I don't bring a lot of baggage because I'm not that devoted to the Alien franchise in general.
I'm not a loon, like,
like, not the way that I did with like the Halloween franchise, though. Like, in fairness, like, I am like way more like pearl clutchy about what David Gordon Green did at the end of Halloween Kills.
To my boy.
What are they doing to my boy, boys?
My boy.
Beating Michael Myers killing like a whole group full of people that just beat him to death with a fucking toaster and shit. Like, that is way more egregious to me in my emotional core than bringing Ian Holm back, even though it is more in bad taste. I would say.
If you just turn off your emotions, if you just feel nothing,
and
that's
your brain,
that's the guy.
And you're just a fucking lump of flesh in the theater shelling out money. You'll have a great time.
Oh wait,
look, I was born to consume.
Did they bring back Loomis?
They did, but it wasn't
Loomis,
CGI.
but it wasn't deep fake. It was a really good looking.
Yeah, it was
lookalike.
Great lookalike.
Never mind.
Which was kind of impressive, actually.
Yeah,
but like, he wasn't there to deliver lines. He was there to like be like kind of mid frame in shadow, where you like if evocative of a memory.
And they were flashing back to a scene that he was in.
Right.
So there's some reason. There's zero reason to do it in this movie.
Yeah.
Zero reason.
That is a
we
fair
already
call,
have
though.
another robot that has another face.
Yeah.
So it's not like
and
in Aliens, there's another robot
Winona
with
Ryder's
another
ass
face
in there.
Yeah, like literally just it could be anything. Like, it doesn't need
it could
to
be a dog. Like, it doesn't have to be a person.
Well,
and that would be
the story
great.
does not change at all if it's not Ian Holm. It's Ian Holm.
Right. Yeah.
Remember the spider that was shot in Resurrection? We're bringing it back.
I would have at least laughed at that. Like, it would.
What if it's just Ron Perlman?
We gotta
It's
bring back the
it's just
spider. People are
Ron
just
Perlman, the actor.
they're
Like,
gonna get
"Hey
it,
there,
guys. They're gonna get it.
They're gonna get it.
God.
Yeah, it's the
All right.
basketball that Ripley swished. That
Oh,
gives the
geez.
exposition.
Dude, if they
down.
brought back the half court shot, I would lose my damn mind.
Oh my
Thanks for
God.
calling,
Callback we
Miles.
need.
Always good to hear from you, man. I think we're gonna hold the other voicemails for next week. But again, if you guys are listening, would like to call in with your alien hot takes or cold takes or whatever, hit us up at 904-638-3231. Your room temperature cakes. However you like your cakes, you know.
I left my cake out in the rain, so I'm kind of fucked.
Hit us up.
Like my cake thick.
Oh, baby. All
Damn,
right.
boy.
That's 2 C's. I heard it in your voice.
Damn. We'll be back next week with a new show. Per usual, we're going to be talking about the winner of the August poll, which was Pan's Labyrinth.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah.
Holla.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Getting into that Del Toro hotness. Check out.
yeah.
Check out Pan's Labyrinth. Get ready for next week's show. Jose, thanks for sitting in with us again, dude.
Yeah, no,
really cool
man,
having
no.
you on.
It was great. I loved it, man. Thank you once again.
We'll have to
Yeah.
get you on an episode where
Ron
we're not
Perlman.
going to be running train on the conversation the whole time.
Screaming at each other. Yeah.
It was the best. It was the greatest time ever. I got to see it live.
Just a normal conversation. I don't know what y'all
Right.
are talking about.
We're just normal men.
Nothing to see here. We're not even CGI ghouls or
Not
anything.
yet.
you know,
Jesus.
right?
We're just innocent men.
We're just
Jose, why don't you remind everybody about your show one more time before we sign off here?
Yeah, man, just Cinema Villains podcast, man. That's anywhere you get your podcasts, and we're on YouTube too. So we actually record video now. So go enjoy that.
Hell yeah. Shouts outs to your better half, Shaggy. It looks like he relocated, huh?
Yeah, he's gone. He's in outside of Denver. I can't remember.
Oh,
where
damn.
Oh, a man on the move. You know, you can't lock him down.
I know,
Can't do
right?
it.
I'm like, good for you. Go enjoy.
Keep trucking.
Enjoy 50-degree nights. Basketball.
Right.
Sounds
What's
great.
that like?
Dude, yeah.
What's that like?
I
Yeah,
know,
check out Cinema Villains everywhere you get your podcasts. Check out Pan's Labyrinth. Get ready for next week's show. We're on all the socials. Search Straight Chilling Podcast. You'll find us. And until next week, as always, all you mother truckers, please keep chilling.
Feeling like I got a damn bowling ball in my cooter.